I am so blessed. I'm so blessed that I have gotten to know this woman over the past year. It has been about a year that I have been connecting and partnering with Melisa Keenan from Heart Open Publishing. She's the founder of this publishing enterprise, which is one of the most heart aligned experiences I've ever had in my life. And I'm so grateful to have her in the studio here and sharing this conversation out to you. And Melisa has been going through a big transformation and challenge in this last week, and you might have seen it on her Facebook feed already. And so I'm going to ask Melisa to introduce herself and tell us how you're feeling and how you're doing.
Hi, thanks. Oh, that was the most sweet introduction ever. My heart felt and received all of that. Yeah, I'm Melisa Keenan. I've run an online business for the past 8 years. I've been an intimacy coach as well as a publisher and founded the Heart Open Publishing Enterprise at the beginning of 2024. With the intention to do things with integrity and with full transparency so that people could get their sacred healing codes out into the world. I think that storytelling is such a beautiful way that we learn and grow. And it's something that even I'm still like, it's almost like a muscle to like relearn how to receive the wisdom from stories instead of just seeking for people to tell us what to do with our lives. Like stories are so precious because they invite this wisdom from within. It's like everybody's story is going to hit each person differently. And so it feels like a really sacred space to get to hold people's stories. And this year, especially as we've opened up and developed the company in different areas that we hadn't before or really hadn't emphasized before, with now featuring people who have come from historically marginalized backgrounds and stuff. It's just a really big honor. And I have loved doing this project with you, Jennifer. Modern-Day High Priestess is like the epitome of, your story contains healing codes. Let's share them with the world. And it's been a really beautiful evolution as the authors have come in, and it's like each new author, don't you feel, sort of like adds to this like tapestry where even until the enrollment closes, we are looking at, which enrollment closes November 1st, we are like waiting to see the final pieces of the tapestry. And it's so magical to be in that space.
Yeah.
You had asked me how I'm doing, though. It's been,
Yeah.
I'm in a death portal right now, and it's been
Right.
really, really intense. And it really wasn't actually until yesterday that I realized. So my sweet doggy, he was just over a year and a half. Oh, I won't be able to talk about it without crying. I didn't even know I was going to care this much. Like my heart had
We
been
care a
calm.
lot about our pets, and our pets are doing so much work for us spiritually that we don't even know. So, I mean,
I think that's so true. I really had my heart closed to dogs. When I was like 6, my parents put our dog down, and he was old and he was sick, and it was really like the most just thing to do. But as a 6-year-old, he was my best friend. I was an only child. My life was tumultuous, and I was like, do not take away my dog. And I was so angry and bitter. And I really like kept that for like all the way until we got Lovey. And so
Lovey.
his name was Lovey, and we only had him a year and a half. And we, the kids, of course, we've got 4 kids, and of course they've been begging for a dog the whole time. But I was like, no. Like, we've got too many kids. We need to like just focus on the children that we have. And we were finally ready to have a dog, and he had this weird fluke thing where his stomach flipped over, and it was so fast. So he got sick like 6 o'clock Thursday evening. And by 10 o'clock Friday morning, we were taking him through the assisted death process with the vet. It was so fast. It was crazy. And sad. And just like, yeah, I realized again, like death is it's such a invitation I think it's this way for everyone, but I think those of us who are like really sensitive, those of us who would call ourselves priestesses, it's like this alchemy space where even though everything is moving just as fast, everything has completely slowed down in my whole internal world. And I'm like getting more clarity and just like suddenly feeling all of the ancestors that I have helped, move from this life to the next, like feeling them so much closer and just being with all of what it means to like move from this plane to another one.
Yeah. And in the shamanic world, and how I have learned how to understand death as a transformation, and the priestess world is, our pets are so close to us, and they're doing so much energetic protection work for us, and really supporting, like, people. My cat's not here right now, Merlin, but he's usually on every Zoom call with me and live stream, and really being part of the work. Like, he wants to work with me. And this is an opportunity. Death as a portal is an initiation. And this book, Modern-Day High Priestess, has been a really big initiation. I want us, after we finish with Lovey, talk more about the initiations that have happened through this book, because if you're looking for transformation, this is the place. Like, this is the place to go through the initiations that are really supported and held in a good container. And so our pets, and Lovey has now done something for us, even the container, because he's part of this container of Hope Publishing. He's opened up a portal where now that portal of death is open, and we can let go of anything we want to let go of, and can go through the portal at the same time. And so we can do that right now. And anyone watching can, access that portal as well if they're ready to let go of something that they're done with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not serving you anymore. And Lovey, like, in such a loving way, has opened that portal for us.
There was something really beautiful, and I wrote a post about it. I think it was yesterday. I don't know. All the days are sort of blurred together right now, but because anybody who's ever sat with someone or some, an animal or any to transition, it's like, it's such a sacred place, and it's always such a privilege. And to have been there with Lovey, it reminded me of a lot of the other family members that I've been with. But there was a new experience there because my oldest daughter was like, no, I want to be there. And I was really surprised, like, not because I didn't think she had it in her or anything, but just like a teenager, I feel like they're just kind of like, what's the easy route, and like, what's most convenient for me, and and she was like, no, I will be there with him. Like, I need to be there with him. And she locked eyes with him, like right across, like face to face, and she stayed there like that, petting him until the doctor confirmed that he was gone. And it was such a tender thing for me, and it really taught me something big about not looking away and leaning in when something feels painful or uncomfortable or is hard. That sometimes, like, I mean, anybody who's heard me, my whole word of the year this year has been consent. And that means for me, finding my full hell yes. And that's been my whole practice this year. What's my full hell yes? And it's always surprising when your full hell yes takes you straight to pain, or takes you straight into something that's like, nobody would pick that as a full hell yes. It's like, no, like, that's where we were. And the beauty that comes from being willing to look and not look away. And I really have been just feeling so deeply into that, like, especially for those of us, there's so many of us right now, women, who are waking up and going, oh my gosh, like, we've just been asleep for thousands of years, because we have, like, like, oh, this is who I am, and what we do with that power, and how we be with ourselves and with the world and with the chaos and all of the things that come with just existing right now. it requires that we don't look away, and we find this capacity in ourselves to alchemize the pain and the emotions and all that comes up so that we can be reborn through those experiences. And I don't know what that will look like for my 16-year-old, but or even what that looks like for me, because when you're in the cocoon, you don't really know. But
yeah.
but yeah.
And this book, you know, we both initiated this transformation and the initiation experiences that we've had by saying yes to this. Like last year, about this time, we said, yes, we're creating this project. And I'm just wondering, would you, like, I got the idea, I reached out to you with the idea, and you were like a hell yes right away. Like you just said, this consent thing. And how did you know? Like, how did you know? Like, what was it that was, tell me why it was a hell yes.
I'm a manifesting generator, and I don't know if I ever told you this. I already tried launching a book like this, and it was called Hearing the Call of the Goddess. And I talked to like 80 people in 6 weeks, and everybody was like, "Oh, I love this concept," but no, I got no enrollments, none. And I was like, "Okay, 6 weeks, 80 people." Got my answer. Like I'm barking up the wrong tree here. I don't really understand it, but I'm open to seeing what this is meant to be instead. Manifesting generator, right? Like I got the idea. I created a couple videos. I was like, boom, we're doing this thing. I didn't really wait. I didn't really like you're supposed to wait and you know, get 3 confirmations about a thing or whatever. And I was like, well, we'll see what the universe intends for this. And then boom, it was like maybe within 6 weeks after that, you approached me and were like, this is what, and I'm like, oh, there it is. This is what we're supposed to do. I get it now. Like, I know this message is so important to our world, and to have the hope, like even what, I can't wait for you to share your initiation around this, but like, you know, to feel confident, to be able to say, I know who I am. We need that. If this book does that alone for, you know, a handful of women will have succeeded, in my opinion. You should share that story.
We've already succeeded because it's done it for us, and it's done it for the women that are already in the book, and it's done it for even the women who are still considering to be in this book. And one of the beauties of this book that I have been experiencing is like coming out of the cocoon, like really coming out in visibility, in showing up and being confident and sane priestess. Because that, you know, I was tuning into the stars and the moon this morning, and it was really evident that there's a new sky. Like there's stars that I've never seen before. And they're sparkling, and they're like, look at me, see me. I'm here too. Right? Because there's millions and millions of stars, and we don't always see because we don't look, and we don't have the awareness to see it yet, right? Until we expand. And this book has really expanded me in my presence on social media, in my writing ability, in my confidence, and with marketing and sales, and in my work, in my own work, has expanded me in my shamanic work, in my leadership mentoring, and in my speaking ability. This book is really, because this is like the 7th live stream I've done with the authors. And I see no end to doing live streams with authors. We can be doing this all the time because I've initiated a container of powerful women who aren't jealous of each other, who aren't envious of each other, who aren't afraid to both be confident in each other's presence, you know, and like, even if I'm like, oh, you're saying something, I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, she's confident saying that. It's like, I'm not like, some old patterns have just dissolved without even trying.
I love that. And I think that's something we've talked about a lot. Like when you think of bringing together a sisterhood of high priestesses where there is no hierarchy, like I'm the publisher, I'm not like the like extra ultra high priestess or
But
something.
you're also an author. You're writing a chapter 2.
I'm writing a chapter 2. And same with
Yes.
you. It's not like you're not bringing together people to like, you know, learn your system and do things your way. And I feel like that's really important. To me, that's a way that this book really stands out, because I see a lot of priestesses doing really old kind of culty stuff that looks a lot like hierarchy and patriarchy disguised in ritual and sage and stuff. And I'm like, it still does something in my soul. And I feel like we're really trying to do something different here and say, no, like we're all like coming together on equal ground. No one's better than anybody else. Like I'm sure there's things I've learned from you, there's things you've learned from me, and vice versa. And I loved what you said too about how it's helped you grow with visibility. Like the reality is that you can take a book like this, any other authors in this process can take a book like this and can absolutely make the most of it. And we teach that. We absolutely teach how to do that. And we love to see our authors, especially priestesses, who are kind of bumping up against that witch wound of like, oh, I can't be seen. I can't say these things. Can I really put myself out there? Can I really put my business out there? Like to help support them to be like, yeah, you can. And we really, really invite and encourage that in this space.
And it's like one of the other parts of the initiation process that we didn't have when we started the book was the diversity, inclusion, and equity. You know, that really, I really feel like this book called that in. Like it was one of the things that we had to change, and we've had to change a lot of things in this book, a lot of ways, old ways of doing things to honor what the divine feminine is like guiding us to do.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I had this moment of like, we cannot create a priestess book without any indigenous voices, without any wait a second, hold on. We have to. And yeah, and I really loved how it felt like everyone in the book and you and we've all been in this place to be like, oh, like redirection. Okay. Maybe that's kind of part of the path of the high priestess. Like you realize, you know, you set goals, you make plans, you put things in place, and then you give it over to the universe and be like, okay, now show me what this is meant to be. And that's been a really beautiful thing to witness and be a part of.
Yeah. And, you know, we've done a few deaths and rebirths a few times as co-leaders in this book. Like we've had to change, redirect, and reset and reacclimate and raise the frequency even of the book. Just like doing a meditation or doing a healing practice on yourself. The book has been really healing us. And the book's not even 100% written yet. Like, what is it going to do when it's actually, we're at the launch party on February 5th, 2026. Yeah. What is that going to do? Like, that's going to be like a comet shooting through the sky type of an event. I feel like a once in a lifetime event.
Yeah, and the beauty of all of the different voices now that are coming together, like it's going to be an international bestseller. I already can see that because we have a lot of international voices. We have people from everywhere. It's been so cool to see who this book has magnetized. And we do still have spots open. We have a handful more of the scholarship spots, which, as we've mentioned, are reserved for BIPOC, LGBTQIA+, disabled or neurodivergent, or any other type of historically marginalized background. And if that's something that's interesting to you, please reach out. It makes it so that it's 40% of the cost that it normally is. And that's just so that we can make those spaces to say, hey, we are prioritizing your voice, not to assume that people need it or anything like that, but like, we want your voice so much so that we're willing to bring you in at a different price. And we also have some regular spots still available. And I think there's probably been a handful of people watching, almost even hovering over this, like, register. Do I take the call? Do I step through and take the call and commit to myself in this way? And we just want to support you and say that, like, hey, we're here and we would love to take you by the hand and bring you in and help all your dreams come true. Like, a book is a really big deal, and so many beautiful things can come as a result of kind of like taking the key, putting it in the lock, and turning it.
Yeah, and it is a doorway. It is a portal. The book is a portal as well. And I love our book cover. The woman on the cover is basically filled with stars. Like, her outfit is stars, and it represents every star, nationality, ancestry out there. And she's holding a mic and she's holding a feather. Like, part of visibility is speaking, is writing, and your credibility as being a #1 international bestseller is going to support every speaking gig you get, every opportunity for a podcast and live stream. I've talked to a lot of authors. Like, you're an international bestseller already. You're a USA Today bestseller. When you were getting those before, how did it change your career? Like, what did it do?
Huge pivots, especially the first one, having never had that experience before. It was like, oh my gosh. And I was, let's see, 19, 20, 21. I was already 4 years in as a business owner before I did that for my first time. And I have always said, if I could go back and do that as my first investment into any kind of marketing or whatever, I would do that on year one. Like, I would have done that right away, because it created an opportunity for me to no longer feel alone as a business owner. And I think a lot of us who are running these sorts of, businesses where we're healing, or we're in tune with our gifts and we're seeking to share those things, and we're like, how do I do this? And does anyone care? And I feel so alone. And then we go visit, visit our families, or we go back to our husband or whatever, our kids, and people don't understand us and stuff. It was like, I suddenly was around people who cared about my work and who cared about the things that I was doing. And that was so pivotal for me. I was like, oh my gosh. And in addition to that, watching my email list grow, and it opened up so many opportunities for podcast gigs and for other speaking gigs. I started getting contacted by so many summits. I finally had to say, I can't say yes to all of these summits. And I'm now very picky about what summits I say yes to, because I was just getting like, boom, 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 like every week, contacts from summits. And it's not to say that's like the way. It doesn't always go that way, but like, it does open up doors. And there's always this conversation around, like, what would putting your story into the world really create for you? And how could you dream even bigger about what you want that to create? Because we know if we put it out there, it's what it's gonna create. I landed myself onto a TV show. I remember I was sitting on the call for the multi-author book, and the leader said, dream bigger. Like, what is your wildest dream? And she was saying things like, do you want to be on a talk show with Oprah? And I was like, oh my God, I've never thought about that. Like, who, me? Like, I was really in that space with it. I wasn't on Oprah. Those were still goals.
You still could be, though. You still could be. She still has shows. She has a whole channel.
Yeah, but yeah, it made me go, oh, be on TV. I never thought about that. And within the next year, I found myself landed a thing where I literally manifested this spot onto a TV show, the Rondo Swan show. And it was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. So yeah, like, what do you want to make out of this? It's like, what do you want to amplify? Because that's what this portal is.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the gift of the priestess, is we are portals, and we know how to open portals, and we are open to learning more and more and more. So rediscovering, remembering, reclaiming ancient wisdom from the past, from the present, from the future even, and becoming the spiritual leaders in today's modern world. That's our subtitle. Like, we are really risking it. We're going to take the risk to let them say whatever they want, because we're going to be together and we're going to be supported within, and we'll have the people who do support us circling around us even more. And we have to do it. Like, there's going to be multiple circles of women doing this, but it is what's coming. It's here now, and we're igniting it. We're making it happen. We're inviting it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel too to say that there's been other books that I've been in. I'm a 7-time international best-selling author now. And there's been other books that I've been in that I think were really more for me. It was about me being willing and brave enough to just like write the story and say the thing. And I think the gain there is just as important. And maybe, our world doesn't necessarily like, there's no trophy for that. But for me, there is, there's a trophy from myself. And that's just as important. And it also speaks to the way that we encourage our authors to write. This is not a how-to book. You're not going to find a bunch of like, here's all of the teachings and stuff. It's really like, what is your personal story? And I'm sharing a story that I've never shared before, like a very personal, deep story. So much so to the point that you might think, how does this convey that? Like if I were writing solely for my business, you'd think I might write some stories about something that would make people want to do publishing with me or want to come write with me. My story's not. It's all deeply, deeply personal. And we really encourage that because we're trying to speak to people who are comprehending the world through energetics. That's who we're speaking to. And so I don't need to lay out, the 5 tools for writing your best chapter or whatever. That's not what I'm going to write about. I'm writing about my story. And that's what we really encourage. And so whatever your reasoning is for wanting to share, like, hey, I've been through these very sacred things that I feel like I've had to just hold on to. And now maybe I should share them because I think they have value and they might help somebody else. Like, we welcome that.
Yes, it's 100%. And I'm reading a note I have here. A legacy of healing stories that shift consciousness. It's going to be a collection, an anthology, a multi-author container that is shifting consciousness, shifting your belief system, shifting your perspective on yourself, and transforming you from the inside out.
Yeah.
So we are inviting, and either send Melissa or myself a DM or comment in the post, Priestess, and we'll reach out to you if you're interested in coming to this book. And we are absolutely closing enrollment on November 1st so that we can launch on February 5th, 2026.
Yes, so exciting.
Yeah. Yes. Well, thank you so much for sharing so deeply. I always love connecting with you, and I'm so grateful I get to connect with you weekly and maybe even a few times a week. And you've become really a really good friend of mine and collaborator. Thank you.
Thank you. You too, Jennifer. I'm so grateful. What a fun project to do together.
It is.
Everybody watching, if you're like, you know what, that sounds like fun, you should join us because it is.
Yes, it is really fun. It is. Okay. Have a great day. We'll see you later. I'll be back at 10 a.m. with another priestess in another live stream. We'll see you then. Great. All right. Bye.